Hi, this is Cindy. Welcome to my channel, and I apologize for the wet hair, but I've just finished my shower and I am really trying to get this video up today. I will put the links down below. There are two parts to this video. I filmed one part last week. I filmed the other part this morning. Just use the links if you want to jump between them, or just watch this video all the way through. All right, this is Cindy temporarily signing off. I thought I'd give you an update quick on how I had two events last week. I taught my first junk journaling class, and I had a mini craft fair that I did on Saturday. The mini craft fair was it was supposed to be a bunch of local authors that had gotten together, were having booths, and people could come and buy books from local authors. In reality, there were only two of us there, and the rest of the vendors were cool things, but they weren't necessarily books or book related. So there was that. I did do well. I certainly made my booth fee back. And as you can see, I brought these three journals back home with me. The only journal I sold was my French Queen one. And I'm sorry I did not get your name, but you absolutely thrilled me when you said you came to this fair specifically to see me and my journals. That was such a cool thing. And she had traveled quite a bit of distance too. So that really made my day. These three journals did not sell. They are going to be up on my coffee shop. I will do a video walkthrough of all three. And if you are interested in them, they will be listed for $25 plus shipping and handling, mostly shipping, postage. So that's where these stand. Like I said, I did well. I sold a lot of my books, my Diana Hunter books. I did not sell much in the way of journals, only the one journal. You know that I created 5 of these out of those 2 paper packs. And I have these 3 still. We've talked about those. These 2 are in process. This one, the signature is put together, but obviously nothing else is done with it. This one, I have started putting pieces together for it. It is not yet sewn. Yeah, so that's where this one stands. As for the journaling class, I learned a couple things. First of all, the first time you teach something is never your best time, and I kind of knew that going in. I had my lesson plan. Believe me, being a teacher for 39 years, I know how to do this, but that first time through, you have a lot to learn. So what did I learn? I learned to limit my class size. That was the first thing I learned. There were 24 people, I think, at this, and I had made enough kits for 30 people just in case. 24 people is just too many. Some people were not interested, and so they didn't stay very long. Some people took their kits and took them home because they had other appointments. This really wasn't specifically geared as a journaling class. I was doing this with a group of people who had basically gotten together for lunch and to chit-chat, and then expected to hear a speaker and go home. Well, they got a project, which was fine. I know that they've done that in the past, but not everybody's always interested in the project that you have to offer. I would definitely, so one of the things I would do is limit the class size. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. The other thing I would do is only do a junk journaling workshop. I wouldn't do it as a part of anything else anymore. I don't think that worked as well, but I might start offering like live junk journaling workshops. Our libraries around here do a lot of that sort of thing, so I might start working with them and see what I can do there. So I learned to do it with a targeted audience, basically, and limit the class size. And I think I'd limit the class size to about 10. At the end, I had about 10 people left who were really working on it, really wanted to create a junk journal, and did some marvelous work. Oh my glory, I wish I had taken pictures. That's the third thing I learned, was take pictures at the end of what people create, because some of those pieces were amazing. In fact, all of the ones that were completed were absolutely wonderful. And the fourth thing I learned was maybe I don't need to do the advanced fussy cutting that I did. Well, I didn't do a lot of fussy cutting. Basically, I took the digitals that I had printed out and I cut them into smaller pieces so that, I mean, there was some fussy cutting that they would have to do, but some people who don't want to do a lot of fussy cutting, they could just take the squares, the journal cards as they were. You know, it was kind of like a journal card that looked like this, or, you know, whatever. And they could just use it. They didn't have to fussy cut it. But some people would want to cut out the circle and then use the frame. And that was fine too, if they wanted to do that kind of fussy cutting. I have 3 of these. I wonder how I got 3 of these. All right. In any case, so I learned limit the class size, target the audience, don't do all the fussy cutting. I'm going to have to review the video to figure out what the 4th thing was that I just learned. I don't remember. Okay. That was my week. So for today's project, I put everything out here. I'm learning from Margaret of 7 Plaza. This is actually an activity she just recently did, but I'm putting my own little spin on it. So what you will need, well, first of all, what are we making? We're making tabs for your book pages out of those strips. Everybody has them. If you're using 12 by 12s and cutting them down, everybody has these extra little strips that are all over the place. So, and I've got some things in here that don't belong. These are not strips. All right, so if you have strips, get out your strips, because that's what we're going to use. We're going to use some washi tape. I have numbers here that I'm going to use to put onto my tabs. I have a hole punch. I have my little cutter, so you're going to need a cutter of some sort. Put those things over there. I have some glue page, and I have some place to put extra washi. That's my extra washi page. This is my glue page, and I have some flower stickers that I can use if I want. So let's get rolling here. This is really pretty easy. The first thing you're going to do is, I'm going to move these around and find a strip. I've got a couple. I now have my strips. So the first thing I want to do is cut them down. And I cut them down to 3 inches. And that looks pretty, I don't know how long this is, but 3 inches, how long this strip is, but it's close to 6 inches. I'm going to cut it to 3 inches. And I'll set this strip aside. We're not going to use that one right now. So let's use that one. Let's cut another one to 3 inches. This one's a little bit wider, and that's okay. Whatever strips you have left over, that's what you can use. I'm cutting this one to 3 inches. If I cut them all at once, it just makes it go a little bit faster. Oh, that one's been obviously bent into something before, 3 inches. Okay, get rid of those for now. So I have 4 little pieces here. The first thing I'm going to do is fold them in half. If you have a particular project that you're working on, this is a great way to use up some of the strips that go along with your project and do some fancy work on some of the pages. And I'm just finger pressing these down for now if I choose to, but I think I will go ahead and grab my card, a card, not 2 cards. Yeah, we'll just give it a quick, so they stay put. All right, done. Now I need to cut the ends. I'm making, basically it's like making tickets. Now, you could use your crocodile for this. You could use whatever it is that you have that makes hole punches. And all I'm doing is taking out a little bit of the corner. So if I put this on here, I think you can see it a little better here. Let me put course, I've got green on green. Let me show you with this one. Here we go. So you can see there's little holes out of each one, little notches. So we're just making notches in the all four corners, as if it's like a ticket. This is how you would make a ticket. The very first train ride I ever took, the conductor came by with his little punch and punch tickets. Nobody does that anymore. They check your ticket as you're getting on the train, and then sometimes they'll check it as you go along, but mostly they find out where you're going, and then they stick a number up by your seat so they know. Okay, so we're done now with the hole punch, because I've done all the pieces that I'm doing. So I'm putting my hole punch back away. All right, where'd my other piece go? So now I have 4 tabs. This is where you have to be careful, because I made a mistake on the first one that I did. The very first one I did it this way, and I wanted the number to be on the outside, and I realized I put it on the inside. So I fixed that with the next tag that I did. And what I like about the 3, now you can make these any length you want. I'm doing 3 inches because I like the 3-inch. I like how far it sticks out over here, but I can also adjust it. So if I don't want it, I can go in a little bit more, you know, I can come out a little bit more. So you've got some space to play around. And I haven't put anything on here, but it gives you some space to kind of add it to your page and maybe do a big sticker over the top of it or something. This is a page that I have actually started to work on. Okay, so the next thing you're going to need is some washi tape. Grab some washi tape that you have. Now this is, I don't know that I have anything that goes with that color, but I have stuff that I can use here. This is from the washi tape shop. I do have a link down below, but for some reason I can't get the last section of it to highlight. And it is, in fact, if you use that link and buy anything at the washi tape shop, I do get a little bit of kickback from it, which is helpful for me. Okay, I'm going to cut it here. Now this is sticker washi tape. Might be a little bit bigger than I need. And I've got stuff all over me. I've already been crafting today, can you tell? So I'm going to now just put my thing there so that it doesn't unravel. And I'm going to get a little piece of tape, and I stick the tape to the back, and then I pull the front away from the back rather than the back away from the front. And look how easy that is. That just came right off. I do like the washi tape. This is not really an ad for the washi tape shop, but I do like their washis because they're good. They're not, I don't think I've ever had one go bad on me, at least not yet. All right, I'm going to put this piece of washi right over the top of it. So when I bend it, okay, let me just trim that off and trim this. And then I stick my extra pieces on here. And then what do I do with it when I'm done? Well, let's see. I think I did it with this one. Was it this one? Yep. I used it on the inside cover of my idea book. I put it there as partly to remind me that I could do it. I mean, I glued it right in. And so now it's very textury because the pieces sometimes stick up, but it's really kind of cool to have that there as the inside of my idea book. So, okay, so now I have this, and I have numbers. I have a lot of different kinds of numbers. I have little tiny numbers. I have big numbers. I like that one. The only thing is, if you're using a number and you don't necessarily, the other side is not necessarily going to have, you know what, let's use, I think I had a couple of 3s in here. I do. Let's use the 3s. This little box is 100 Denison's Gummed Reinforcements, number 2, and from Framingham, Massachusetts. It is obviously very old, and I use it to keep my numbers in. And I like, these are some pre-stamped numbers that I did a while back. These are not, again, this is out of my stash. This is not anything new, but let me tear these down a little bit. And we're just going to decorate up this. Okay. So I can have the same number on both sides. If you don't want the same number, or you don't care, or maybe you don't even want a number, I'm just going to put that number there. And these are not even the same kind of paper. This is very old paper that I have right here right now. That's was some old lined paper. But I don't really want to, well, I guess I'm just going to have to cover up my little birdie there. I'll try to get that straightened up a little bit. There. Now, I have, okay, so there we have it. And if I wanted to add a little flower, I could. I'm not going to add anything right now because I don't know what journal it's going to end up going into, and I don't know what that theme of the journal might be. Did I do it again? I did it again. I put it on the wrong side. I got to put it on the fold side. Oh my glory. Learn, do not follow me. Learn from my mistakes. This one I don't think I want to put anything on because I like just how it looks. That would just be a cool tab. So I think we'll just leave that one alone. All right, let's see if we can't manage to do this one correctly. So this one, do I want to put any washi on? Let me put my tape over here and throw that away. What do I have out here? I don't have much in the way of my washi out. I've got a little bit of yellow. Let's use the yellow crosshatch because it's out and I don't want to go digging to find different washi. So I want it to be twice the width. Here, let's just open it up. Be easier to figure it out. So right about here. Cut a little extra just to be on the safe side. And this one I am going to make sure I put a little bit of extra on it because it's cheap washi. Let me start down there. I'm going to put this right through the middle. There. Cut off my end. But this is a really easy way to use up some of those scraps. Stick it on my paper. And this time, I want to put the number in the middle. And I don't care this time if, in fact, it has anything to do with, I'm going to grab that 375 again. It's popping out. It wants to be there. But this time, I'm going to do a quick little distress over it. Because it's pretty bright. I don't necessarily want it that bright. There, let me age it up a little bit. This came out of a hymnal. It was a piece of music that I cut up and I harvested the numbers, as Carrie the crafter would say. I harvested the numbers. 375 and 146 seems to be out here. 145. You know, we'll go with the 5s. We'll go with 145. But let me, real quick, put a little bit of ink around the outside. There. All right. There we go. And I like the fact that this one has so much of the print still showing. So now when and if you notice, I don't always get them exactly lined up. It doesn't necessarily matter if it's on the very end, because once you put, oh, I like how that looks right on there. I might just go ahead and add that. because I like how that looks. We'll put the 375 out. How far out do I want it? Maybe this far. So now to add it to my paper, let me just pull this over. I can put glue on the whole thing because I'm going to fold it up. So I'm just using my glue stick, getting glue on the whole thing, and then putting it about where I want it. There, I want the 375 just to show. There. Now when I use this in a journal, I'm just making sure I got it nice and level. Now when I use it in a journal, isn't that cool? And this was a pocket that I made a while back. It's a pocket here and a pocket here. So now that is ready to go into a journal. I just have to find the right journal for it to fit. But there we go. Isn't that easy? All right. You need some music. Still a little too much. There, we need some music there. Oh, where'd that paper go? And I need some music for the backside. There we go. So we've got a little bit of music on there. Let me put my music back in there and just stick it back out of the way so it's not on my desk. And do we want to add a little washi to the edge? I don't really know that I have a decent washi out here that fits this. Oh, I got a nice little thin one. There we go. I like the thin. This is also a great opportunity to use up your thin washis. This is again, a very cheap washi. I'm going to take a little bit there and, well, I'll cut it off when I do it. What is really cool about doing these, actually, let's put it in the middle here. Put it right there and try to straighten that up. There we go. And I'm sticking because I got glue all over my fingers. Okay. You go on the, come here. And I'm not really, I don't care where it goes, and I don't care if it goes straight. It just goes on there. So there's on that side. Let's put another piece on the other side. This is like a salmon pink. It's not real pinky, which I kind of like because then it can go on here and change as it goes up the different colors inside. Okay, that big glob of glue will fade. I started doing these things because the washi would stick to my fingers, obviously, and then I would have to put it on something to get rid of it. All right, I like that. I might just leave it like that. Do I have I have little tiny numbers, like really tiny numbers. So let me put a little tiny number on there. I'm going to take off a little bit of extra. I had a great Father's Day yesterday. That's why this video is late, because my daughter had a whole activity planned for my husband, and we just had a riot. She bought for Father's Day. My husband is a huge Monty Python fan. It says $2.75, and she bought a Monty Python role-playing game. And oh my glory, we had a riot with it. She was the DM. Dungeon Master or Games Master. You can call her, probably Games Master is more appropriate in this because we weren't in a dungeon. And we just played and had so much fun. There, we add another layer in there. So you can layer these up as much as you'd like. Obviously, some of these are not layered very much, and some are a little bit more, and some are not at all. So do whatever flops your mop. I have actually a fairly large piece here, and I'm going to just real quick make that up as well as a tab because it's on my table, and otherwise it's just going to go back into the bin. I'm getting pieces everywhere here. Get those out of the way. And now I have another little tab. This one I think I want to... And I did not do this. I did not distress the edges on any of the others, but you certainly can. There's no reason why you can't. And now, where's my page that I have put the piece on? It doesn't, oh, that looks nice too. Maybe I want another one. Put a page. Of course, this one's got a pocket here, so it's probably not good to put a tab on it. But look at that. I don't even know if that even needs any decoration. It could go just like it is. Okay, so there we go. That's making tabs today. We have one right on the page itself. The video for the journals that are on for sale, that will be up on Wednesday, but the sale might actually begin before that. I'm really hoping to get all 3 of those journals uploaded today to Coffee. So if you are interested in any of those journals, please make sure you hit the coffee shop. I think that's it. If you're enjoying these videos, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, click the like button so YouTube knows that you like them, and the bell for notifications so you know when I post, sometimes in the community tab and sometimes I post here. So click that bell so you know when things are going up. In the meantime, this is Cindy signing off.